Well, I've scanned in the back glass from this pinball, and I had a lot of problems scanning. There's only really one scanner you can use, and it's obsolete now, and that's the HP Scanjet 4600 or the 4670, and HP discontinued them, I think for obvious reasons. But it's the only scanner that you can lay down on a flat surface. So if you're trying to scan a pinball playfield, absolutely perfect for that, because you'll get it absolutely right in proportions. It's 1-to-1, you see. But I tried it on a glass, and the problem is, as the scanner goes across it, because it's got a light on it, it's bouncing back off the glass, which isn't ideal. So I found the best way to do it is use an SLR, you know, or at least a decent camera, away from the glass. Make sure you haven't got any light reflected on it, and but zoom in, and that should stop you getting this sort of pin cushion effect where the edges curve out, you know. But anyway, I'm in Photoshop, and you can do a lot of corrections in Photoshop, to be honest. And but what I've been doing, I've been working on this image over several nights as it goes. You know, even zoomed up, it's quite acceptable. And the reason it is because what I did as soon as I could was change it to a vector graphic, which means you can scale it up, because this was only something like 72 dots per inch, whereas all the scans were about 300. You know, there's a massive difference. But once I'd cleaned up the image, and there were a few ways I could do that. One of them was using a dropper, and because some areas of the image it lost its colour, so you're able to pick it up and use the fill tool. Can't see it on the menu at the moment, but then you could fill up the whole area with the green, go around and touch it up. You know, this pinball back glass, it's 85 years old, and I'm just guessing, I don't know, they didn't have the same technology in the 30s, did they? And they probably used leaded paint. And you know what household gloss is like over the years, it yellows, doesn't it? So there's a kind of compromise. So I wanted to bring up the colours to what I think they should have been when it was new, but not become so garish that, you know, you lose the look of the thing. That's the thing. So that's what I've done. So really, I concentrated on all the yellows, used the fill tool, fill those up. Then I went and picked the brightest red I could find on here, and if it wasn't bright enough, I could bring it up just a tone, and then filled all these in. But yes, it's tedious work, I have to say. But you know, having said that, you know, I can zoom it up, and it's quite acceptable, I think. I mean, bear in mind, you're not going to be looking this close at the pinball glass. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. The other thing I also did, if I can bring it in, let's have a look. That's the mask. So I did use the Scanjet 4670 for that, because there was less of a reflection issue. And then when I brought it in, because oh boy, did it look a mess. A lot of Tipex used on it, a lot of flaking paint. But of course in here I'm able to touch all that up quite well. So what I did, I reduced it down to basically two colours, black and white. I took all the tones out of it to sharpen it up, and then I've just been gradually, if you look in this area, it shows you how much paint had been lost off the mask. Look, can you see that? So, you know, gradually I'm filling all that up. It's not difficult to do, but you know, you have to look at the front glass and the light box to know what should be white, because anything that's white is where the light will shine through. Anything that's black is where it won't. So that was that. And the other thing I also photographed was, crucial we do this, the light box. And I did this so that I knew that I'd got the proportions right. This is where the Scanjet 4670 comes in really handy. And then I cropped it. But it means now I can overlay the mask over that and know that everything lines up. Do you see what I mean? Lines up with all the light boxes. So and then when I've done that, then I can lay over the top glass and make sure that all lines up with everything, so all the scores line up with these holes. And then when it's done, I can then export all of those, and they are ready to print. And that's basically how you do it. But I would strongly suggest, because certainly on these Gencos, the light box at the back is exactly the same size as the glass. Very handy. So, you know, everything should, if you've got it right, line up. And so that's what I've been doing, and it's over about 3 nights. I think in sort of time, I would say I've done a full 24 hours at this. And it's been some years since I actually used Photoshop, so I'm to relearn it. You could do it in Paint Shop Pro as well. That's another option. But there you go. That's what I'm doing with the back glass. I'm not exactly near to getting it printed. I'm going to look at all the options. You can certainly get images printed on glass, but I think that could be quite expensive. I'll try a few different ways. I'll also talk to some of these guys that do graphics for Windows. That's another route I could go. Get them to print it on a graphic and literally stick it on. That's another way. But there you go. That's the back glass. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.